Hey traders, John Howell here. Today I'm going to be looking at the overall markets today, and today it's going to be more like a big picture overview because I think there's a really big shift that's happening right now on a big picture analysis, and I want to share that with you when it comes to the stock market, comes to interest rates as well too, the bond market. We're going to be looking at things like gold and silver and the mining sector as well too, because I really believe there's a really big massive shift that's taking place in a lot of these markets right now. That's what's been happening in some cases in the last 10 years. So the last 10 years there's been like certain mindset about certain markets. And after 10 years, there is a massive shift taking place right now in some of these markets. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so that trading course on the screen right now, make sure you grab access to that. First link in the description. Now let's actually talk about, I'll talk about the really big picture here happening on the on the Dow Jones through here. So the big thing I'm really noticing through here on the Dow Jones is, the first thing I must say is that there's so much negativity around these markets right now about these markets going down and stuff like that. So that really gives me a really good sort of a bullish case scenario out of these markets. So again, I'm looking at the Dow Jones here. If I bring up the weekly charts, remember this is a weekly chart here, okay? If I bring up the weekly chart and we see what we're looking at right now, okay? We had this support level through here, as you can see. Okay, so that level of support through there, and you can see it actually bounced off through there. So if I actually just create a parallel trend line, because the reason I'm doing this here is like, what actually happens if we do start to see a move up? Okay, what happens if that does happen? Some of you, if you say that's not going to happen, well then guys, you know, you're a moron, because the market can do anything it really wants to do, right? And most of the time it's going to do the exact opposite to what you think. I can't do that, and then it does do that. Have you ever done that? Have you ever got into a trade because you think it's going to do something and it doesn't do it? And have you ever not got into a trade because you don't think it's going to do something and it actually does do it? You're like, you're like, oh, what? Give me give me an amen in the chat box below if you know exactly what I'm just talking about. I was thinking about just a thing there. So anyway, so if we do start to see a move back up, look at this angle through. Look at all that angle through there, and look at where we are right now on the stock market. So that tells me that, I know this sounds crazy, okay? But remember I said before, remember that comment before, right? I can't repeat it because I don't remember exactly what I said. It was pretty cool. I should short that and then make it as a short. So anyway, we could actually start to really see a move up, because look at this here. We're actually really basing out here, right? Look at this here. We're all basing out through there. We could actually start to see a move back up towards these highs up here. Now again, guys, I'm just looking at what the pattern's doing, right? We had a move up, and now we've had a move over or sideways, and it hasn't done nothing for quite some time now. So that tells me now we could be getting ready for what? Another move up. And you know yourself, right? That's how the markets work, right? We go for move up, we go sideways, move up, sideways, you know, stuff like that. So due to the fact that we've gone sideways through all this time, this could be getting ready for some sort of really nice bull move for the rest of this year, right? So I would not mark that out there. Moving over now through to the good old S&P 500. And if we do the exact same thing for the S&P 500 here, if I bring up this angle through there, okay, and then I bring it up through there, once again, we could actually start to see, we could possibly start to see a move. If that's the angle through there, we could quite possibly start to see a move back up towards possibly 5,500, like a nice 30 or so % rise to the top of this channel. Because if this is going to be a really big long-term defined channel, again guys, if you see what's happening through here, right, look at this here, up and then down. Now we're basing out through here, so we could be getting ready to see a really big move to the upside, looking at that through there. And if it is the Nasdaq as an example as well too, we can also see here on the Nasdaq that'll be the angle through there, right? And then that's going to be the angle through there. Let's extend that to the right for a bit. Let's bring that up, say through to there. And then if I bring up the exact same angle and connect it to the high, somewhere through there, then that tells me, guys, that we could be getting ready for a really big move up. Now the Nasdaq is probably going to have to make a lot more of a bigger move because it's actually had a lot more of a bigger pullback. So maybe we're not going to get to the high of the channel here, but looking at the S&P 500, there's actually a good possibility we actually could be getting that because we've been doing nothing really. We've been doing nothing for what? Almost 1 year. So the market will, when the market is probably going, it's going to break out, and we're probably going to start to see a really big trending market here. And that's the same for the Dow Jones as well too, right? We can see what's going on through there on the on the Dow Jones through there. So that's basically what I'm looking at through there when it comes to that now, that through there. So what I was talking about at the start of this video, which was the 10 years, okay? The last 10 years of what's taken place. After 10 years, the market is now about to enter a major shift. After 10 years, it's going to enter a major shift. And what I'm talking about here is the mining sector, okay? Because for the last 10 years, and if you guys know, if you look at simple cycle analysis, what does simple cycle analysis say, right? We go through booms, we go through busts, we go through quiet periods. And then we go through another boom, we go through bust, we go through... That's a simple cycle analysis, right? So Ray Dalio says what didn't do well for the last 10 years is probably going to do well for the next 10 years. And I know that sounds pretty crazy, right? But again, it can be that as that simple. So as you can see, right, like really for the last 10 years, this GDXJ chart has done absolutely nothing, right? Absolutely nothing. So therefore, I absolutely do believe that we're about to see a really good, we're about to see a major shift happening in the mining sector overall. And we're about to see, from now through to say, again, if you're looking at the 2030 pattern, and I always use 2030 as an example. But if I look at this through here, use this as an example through there. Okay, so that's 2030, is it? Yeah, 2030. Where's the... Oh no, that's 2030. Yeah, 2030. So somewhere about there, I honestly do believe that from now, if you were at 2030 and you look back and you say, okay, in this white space here, what is likely to happen? New highs. See this high up here? New highs. That's what's likely to happen. That's what I strongly believe. I really do believe we're about to make new highs. There's a major shift after 10 years. There's a major shift taking place. And that is the mining sector through there. A lot of people are still focusing on the crypto markets, and I don't believe that that's going to be the market that's really going to lighten people up. And so when we see that, we can also see things like the gold market as well too, right? So the gold market and what's actually going on through there with the actual gold market. If we actually bring up the gold market and we use the exact same analysis of what I'm looking at here, again, this is 2030 here, right? So 2030, if we bring this down through to here, I honestly do believe that by 2030, we could see at least a 3,000 print, probably even higher than that by 2030. Actually, yeah, a lot higher than that. I really see, guys, there's going to be another second wave of massive inflation that's going to come. And again, that's probably going to be on the second half of this decade, so 25, 26. And when that happens, right, when that completely happens, I honestly see gold making tremendous moves back up, moving to the upside. Now, if we're liking this to what actually happened back in the 70s, right? So right now, the inflation is very similar to the 70s, right? If you actually look at the inflation, we've had that first inflation that's coming down now. There's going to be another second wave inflation. So if you have a look at gold, right? I'm going to bring up the trading view here. So let me bring up the gold level through here. I've got a lot of lines going on through there. Let me just remove the lines. Let's go back to this weekly chart. Okay. So this is the weekly chart through here. And if I squeeze it up, look what happened back in the 70s, right? So this was gold. Look, this is gold through here, through the late 70s. And I honestly believe this is a repeat of what happened back in the 70s. So you can see here, right? So through the start of, we actually had a first move up, and then we had a basing out pattern for a while. And then for a couple of years, we actually went through an enormous move up like from there, right? And if we're looking at, say, percentages, like we're talking about, you know, a 750% increase, 750% increase over that span, which is, what's that, 76 to 80, so 4 years, right? And especially when we look at things like even silver, right? Especially when we look at things like silver as well too. So we go to the actual silver market, we can actually see this is, look, this is exactly what happened with silver. So this is where, like, this silver, the gold, the mining sector, I honestly believe is about to make some tremendous moves. And the reason why I'm saying this, guys, on the big picture analysis, is because on the other side of 2025, or the other side of 2024, which is 25, 26, you really want to be watching out for this sort of stuff here, because if you can buy some options, if you can buy some really good cheap options, like far out of the money and really cheap, then when this happens, your maybe 10, 20, 30 cent option is going to be worth 10, 20, $30, right? Because of the volatility in the market. And the reason why I mention this, guys, is because, like, as little as, say, a $10,000 investment, when this happens, you could start to achieve like $1-2 million in profits. You know, like 10, 20,000% return, because the volatility is going to be so grand and so massive that when you do that, I really honestly do believe, guys, that again, and this is where, like, being educated, and again, if you really do want to get educated, guys, and you really do need help, that second link in the description there, it's John's, it's the Super Trader Formula. Go over there, get access to Super Trader Formula. What that is that's actually where you can book a call with me personally, and then I will walk you through the Super Trader Formula as well too. Plus, also I will help you out as well too. But the big thing, guys, is that it's important that we step back and we be patient and wait for these opportunities, because as I said before, just as little as a $10,000 investment, you know, could potentially yield a $1, $2, $3 million profit, right? And then when you start to go from there, you know, and again, like, I honestly do believe that because of the volatility of these markets, these options are going to absolutely just scream. So you could pick up options for, say, something like maybe even like way out of the money, like we're talking like something like maybe 20 cents. And then suddenly, you know, something, you know, then it's now worth like $30 or $40, you know what I mean? And then now you're talking about, just really like really big numbers, you know what I mean? And so it's a you know, again, like a $10,000 investment for that would yield a $1.5 million investment, a $1.5 million profit, right? So these opportunities for you to do really well out of the next boom from the next 5 years, guys, if you want to become a millionaire, there's these opportunities that are coming across your plate. And I promise you, guys, when we start to really be patient and focus on this here, you could turn the next this crisis here that's happening. You could turn this crisis here, and being prepared and understanding and educating yourself to what I believe is going to be the greatest wealth transformation. Now, the idea is that to not get too greedy, right? Because it goes straight up, it'll come straight back down, just like all bubbles do. So you don't want to be getting too greedy when this starts to get warmed up. You know what I mean? Because again, you want to be in a situation where you want to be in a situation where you understand what's going on because of the bubble, but you don't want to get too greedy, because you're like, oh, I'm at $2 million profit. Let's see if we can go $4 million, right? And then it suddenly goes from $2 million profit to like $100,000 profit, right? Really quickly. And that's what's going to happen there on the other side of this. So this is the major shift that's actually taken place, guys. For the last 10 years, this has been building up in the mining sector and also the gold and silver market as well too. But on the other side of this election, 25, 26, guys, I promise you, if we can get into 26, and like if I could buy a 2030 option right now, I would, because I believe there's going to be some incredible moves coming from here. And just like this one here, right, just when we start to really break above these highs here, we could be getting really ready for a really big move. So even when I'm looking at gold right now, even if like on a short-term basis I'm back on gold, right, I honestly do believe that gold is getting ready. This gold chart here is getting ready to have like a really big move up, because again, we've actually been doing nothing in gold, as you can see, right? Absolutely nothing in gold for quite some time. And so I honestly do believe we're getting ready to have a really big move to the upside from there.